Welcome to the Hawks Talk podcast. All things Blackburn Hawks.
In behind the defence, cuts around, scores! Blackburn Hawks win this game 8 goals to 5.
All the latest news, player interviews and much more.
Shoots, scores!
Hawks Talk.
Here we go again. Welcome on board for another episode of the Hawks Talk podcast. Just like buses, you don't get one for ages and then two come along at once. I'm Graham Hamilton, your host, as we talk about all things Blackburn Hawks. First of all, on behalf of the Blackburn Hawks and the Hawks fans, I wanted to thank Steve Hurst for his service to the club over the years, and I wish you all the very best in your future endeavours. You and your wife will be missed by everyone around the club. Allegedly, Steve Hurst is on fire and he leaves all defences terrified. All the best, Steve. Take care. The next home game, Sunday the 10th, as we face the Sheffield Scimitars. We also welcome Blackburn Youth Zone down to the arena. Blackburn Hawks in the community have created a partnership along with the Blackburn Hawks Academy and the Hawks, with the end goal for this partnership to see young people in our community getting the opportunity to learn something new, and hopefully we can get a few of them playing ice hockey in the future. Graham Lomax and the players have been doing some sessions down at the Youth Zone over the past 5 weeks, and we hope to see some of the Youth Zone members at the game. And the following Sunday, the 17th, it is another retro night at the Nest as we face the Nottingham Lions. The Hawks will be taken to the ice wearing a very special throwback jersey. All I'm saying is think the first Mighty Ducks film. That's all I'm going to say on it. They look absolutely amazing, and you can win one of those in the raffle. Tickets are available now on the Hawks website, and you'll be able to get them from the merch table on match nights. If you didn't know already, you can catch all the highlights, player interviews and more on our YouTube channel. Just search Hawks TV and make sure to subscribe on there as well.
Hawks Talk.
Also joining us on this episode of the Hawks Talk podcast, the voice of the Nest, the Hawks announcer Aiden Wignall. How are you, buddy?
I'm not doing too bad, thanks, mate. Actually, it's pretty good. You know, since we were last on, we've brought a trophy back, and you know we've scored another 17 goals this weekend. Can't complain about that.
Definitely not. Along with being the match night announcer, you've also been given another role at the Hawks. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, basically, I've taken on the role of the away travel coordinator. So that's basically booking the coach and making sure that everybody's on it and the whole list is up to date, correct, and I don't leave anybody behind in Whitley Bay.
Do you have to wear a high-vis jacket or?
No, I'm not that special yet. Like I keep saying, I keep telling Lance, I'm not that special. So I'm all right with my hat and my Hawks top.
Brilliant stuff. Just quickly, Aiden, have you got a message for Steve Hurst?
Yeah, sadly, we've just heard tonight that Steve Hurst is leaving the Nest. So he's a big loss to the club. Ever since I first started going down and met Steve, he's been an absolute gem. True gent as well, someone you can have a laugh with. He always talks to you, always interested about what you're doing. And not to forget Mrs. Hurst as well. She's like a hockey mum down there. She gives you brews and biscuits and looks after not just us in the box, but everybody else around the arena throughout the weekend. So, you know, big loss to the club. And wish you guys all the best for the future. Much love.
Thanks for that. Let's get stuck into this episode's interview.
Hawks Talk.
Joining us on Hawks Talk, we have head coach of the Blackburn Hawks, Dom Osman. How are you, Dom?
Great. Doing really good.
Good stuff. So, Dom, a 12-game winning streak, 2 cups. It's not been a bad couple of weeks, has it?
No, not at all, to be honest with you. I think the guys have been great these last, since the run at Christmas. We started the run around Christmas time, and I just think that everybody's enjoying it. You know, the guys have improved every day, and they're really taking on what we're trying to teach and what we're trying to coach, and you know, it's paying dividends because they're putting in the effort, right? They're wanting it, they're having fun with it, they're battling, they're competing. That's the important part. It has nothing. I don't think it's got a lot to do with what, you know, like what we're trying to coach or anything. We're just trying to tell them to go out there, have fun, you know, play a good game of hockey and things like that. And they're really taking it on board, to be honest. So
To kick things off then this weekend, we just faced a Widnes Wild back-to-back. How did you find those games?
Well, to be honest, it was a weekend that I thought wasn't, the score lines were a bit bigger, but it was quite feisty. It got a bit feisty, but the guys came out strong. They came out hard. They're riding a bit of momentum at the moment in time. We were short guys. Obviously, we've got Jake out and David's out right now, but it just seems like we've been short all year anyway. And the guys have just really risen to the challenge, and they're playing for each other, and that's the most important thing that we could stress to each other, and they're putting themselves in positions that may not come around very often, and I think that we're just trying to stress to them that you guys are riding it, but you guys are doing it together, right? And that's who they're playing for, and it's just really, really good to see. So against Widnes, we came out flying, we came out firing. We're got a lot of shots on net, and we hit the post real early, and you could just see the confidence start to build. And again, once you get one, you get two, and then all of a sudden it just starts to flow. And we rode it through the weekend.
How do you feel the away game went, especially with the smaller ice pad at Widnes?
I'd like to say that we play a different game at home than we do away, but at the moment in time, we've kind of figured out how to play in both rinks. The guys know coming in, especially like the game in Billingham. We did what we did on our ice at home, big ice surface and this and that, but they also know, kind of figured out how to play on a smaller ice surface. I think it started all the way back when we played Sullyof in the quarterfinals. And to be fair, we turned Billingham at home in the beginning of the season, and they're just finding ways to play in any situation, in any ice surface, in any area, in any rink. And I think that's really important for what we're doing, obviously, with the 12 straight, things like that. So, but I feel like it got a bit chippy. They were starting to throw the body a bit. They're a little more physical at home, and we answered the bell, and that's what I think. I think there were two games of good, hard contact hockey, and we didn't back down. Our guys, they've got enough skill that if guys are going to start running at them, they might be able to sidestep them and make them pay. A couple penalties, they took early. We capitalized on them, made them pay for it, and then we answered the bell physically. So,
especially away at Widnes, we took quite a good lead early on, leading up to the end of the first period. What do you say to the guys when they're going into the change room? Is it just like carry on with the same intensity, or do you then just try and see out the game and just try and keep lads fit and healthy for going into? You do that going into the next weekend. Is that something you do, Dom?
Yeah, we don't. We go by the motto is don't take your foot off the gas. And it's hard sometimes. When you go up by a few goals, you could be like, all right, let's coast and this and that. But we've been bit like that before. We've gone up by a couple of goals and then let teams hang around, and then all of a sudden they're back in it, and then you're trying to chase the game at the end of it. What's helped us, I think, is we're breaking it down now. We're breaking it down period by period. So we go out, we say, look, we're not here to win this game yet. We're here to win the period first. We go out, we take it one shift at a time, but then we break it down even further. Win your shift, right? Win 5 minutes. Win the first 5 minutes. You win the first 5 minutes, then you move on to the second. But within your 5 minutes, if you get two shifts, win your shifts. That's all we're trying to do is break it down to the basic as possible. And that's what we keep stressing. Win your shift, win the next shift, beat the battle, or beat the guy next to you, win the battle next to you. And that seems to be helping at the moment. So every time we come in, even if we come in with a lead, or if you don't come in with a lead, you say, look, win the period, and you'll have a good chance of either getting back in the game or extending your lead, one of the two. So
yeah. And then you just mentioned the penalties as well, about obviously when we're shorthanded, and also when we're on the power play. Over the last couple of seasons, that's been a massive weakness, and we have noticed this season it's been a massive turnaround, and we're gaining as well as on both as well as scoring shorthanded goals, which is again something over the last couple of years we've not noticed at the arena. Is that something else you've been pushing on throughout training?
We work on power play a lot. Penalty kill is more instinct for us. Our penalty kill has been great. A couple guys have been really, taking it on board. Our special teams has just been excellent. We've been able to ride quite a few players throughout the special teams. We've got 2 full power play units that we use. We don't have to tire out one unit because, on other teams, they may have 2 really strong penalty killers up top, but then the value drops with them on their second 2. And we still have a second good power play unit that we can send out that is going to be very effective against them. Like I said, we're trying to be careful not to tire guys out in a game and use the same guys over and over again. Guys have been, like I said, they've just been taking that on. Now, when I look at it, if you look at the stats and things like that, I do believe that we're in the top 2 for both power play and penalty kill.
Well,
if you look at it from the league, so special teams is massive for us, right? Teams are look. If we take a lead and teams are going to try and chase us and do stupid things and try and get us to falter, we're not going to stoop to that level. We're going to play hard. We're going to play physical. We're going to play through you. And if you take a penalty, if you do something to take a penalty, you're going to hurt your team because we're able to put in the net on the power play. We have, like I said, 2 very good power play units, up and down, whether we're short or not. So we've had a lot of players play on special teams throughout the whole season. So they're getting better with it too as well. We work on it every Thursday. So and I guess you'd say that a couple penalty killers that are killing the penalties in practice are getting better practice at killing penalties. So they're better for us in the game because they're against such good power play units in practice, right? But we work on it. We work on it 20 minutes, 25 minutes every Thursday night. Sometimes it can be a bit repetitive and boring, but the guys make it fun, right? They're competing, they're pushing themselves to another level. I mean, we're playing at a level again that I don't know if we knew we had. And that's what I think the guys are afraid of now. Like, we know we have this level, we need to play at this level. So I wouldn't say afraid of it, but they're taking it on as a challenge. And I think it's really, really good. And it's really
setting the bar, isn't it? It's like setting the bar, and they're having to meet it now. They've set that level.
Yeah, exactly. And they're taking it. They're taking it upon themselves to do it, which is great. I mean, these last few games have been great for Ollie and I. You sit back and we're relaxing and we're having fun with it too. We're laughing, we're joking, we're keeping it quite loose, but also, we know when we've had a couple, we had a couple. Look, I think the first 10 minutes of the second period against Widnes or it was the last 10 minutes. It at home wasn't the greatest. We had 5-10 minutes where I feel we got outplayed against Widnes in Widnes, and the guys, even though they've got that big lead or they win, they're looking at those. They're looking at that 10 minutes, saying we got better than that. We know we can do better than that, and that's how I feel that they're staying motivated. So they just always want to be the best that they can, which is a great thing.
Brilliant.
Moving on, the weekend that everyone wants us to talk about, the Moral League Cup final. How did it feel to beat the Stars and by such a big scoreline?
Whether we won that game or whether we won that tournament by 1 goal, or whether we won it by I don't even know how many we won it by. I can't even tell you how much
15 goals.
Yeah. You guys go ahead and say that. You guys, enjoy that, whatever. But for us, a win is a win. A win is a win, whether you win it by 1 or you win by 15. And it's been a really, really long year and a half. And Ollie and I sat down and we looked at it and we talked about it, and we almost can't believe where we are. Only almost 2 years into it. Because last year was kind of a feeling out year. And then when we sat down and decided we're gonna try and build this organization, and it's gonna take us when they asked us how long do you think it takes, well, about 2 to 3 years. They offered us to stay for 3 years to start the project. We never dreamed within the first year of it, really, and because it really is the first year. Last year, like I said, was a feeling out kind of year. To be able to be where we are now, we didn't expect to be here. Not saying that we didn't believe in the players. We just didn't expect to be here where we are this soon into the project, I guess you'd say. So yeah, I mean, it was an amazing feeling. I played in this country for quite some time, and I've never taken anything out of it, championship wise or trophy wise. And I think I'm glad I kind of haven't, because, with the support that I've had from my family, my wife and Isla, my kid, it was just a really, really good experience to experience it with them. But also with the group of guys that we had, I can't say enough how special it is to me, because I absolutely love these guys. They're unbelievable. They're great souls. They're great kids. They're clean. They play clean. They play hard. And they're just, it's just a really, really special group that we have. And that's what made it so special.
In that game, the first leg at Blackburn, I remember speaking to you at the end of the first period, just near the changing room, and you looked really calm. And I said to you something along the lines of, how do you manage to stay so calm? And I think you said, you've no idea what's going on in my head right now. What does go through your head in that situation?
I don't, you know what, at that point, I had no idea what was going on. All I'm thinking to myself is kind of, is this real? And I think the guys would kind of came in and they looked at each other and they were like, is this really happening like this? And you go up by that many goals right away and you're kind of like, what do you do? You're like, well, we weren't expecting this. You just keep your foot on the gas, you keep going. And that's what we tried to express. But yeah, it's, I mean, look, I feel like I'm a lot calmer than I was last year. And I'm learning it. I'm new to this. I'm only 2 years into it. So, being behind the bench, there's some frustrating plays and things, but I think if you were to look at myself, last year as opposed to this year, I'm still not calm, but I'm less vocal towards anybody but the players, and just trying to help them and just move forward and things like that. So
I think I saw Ollie put something on Facebook along the lines of, I never thought that I'd be labelled as the calm one.
I guess I'm a bit vocal with a lot of things. I'm always talking. I'm always not yelling at the guys, but just, trying to help talk from the bench so they can hear and things like that, just to let them know there's guys behind you, or, you're a little too low, or come higher, this and that. But yeah, I guess I wouldn't quite say that. I wouldn't quite say that he's the calm one out of the group. I think that we complement each other. Sometimes I get worked up and he pulls me back, and sometimes he gets worked up, I pull him back. Sometimes we both get worked up, and we've got, Watson or a couple of guys saying, look, it's not worth it. Just leave it. And we still, we're going. So it really is. It's a good team atmosphere. And I don't feel we're that bad. And we're definitely not as bad as we were last year. We're getting better. So,
I mean, looking at one other thing. I mean, we're in the box. Every period, we've always got you coming in going like, how many shots?
Yeah.
Do you have like a benchmark for how many shots they should be having in a period, or?
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, we've been out shooting teams massively, and I think that's something that I'm staying on top of, because obviously we're scoring a lot of goals right now. And the more shots that we have, the more we'll have the puck more, right? And the more we have the puck, the less shots the opposition's going to get. It's real simple. It's so simple. But that's why I'm always asking, how many shots do we have? How many shots? I got Darren counting on the bench, but I also want to see what they're seeing behind the net too as well. So, but when we're out shooting teams the way we are, it's no surprise that we're able to put the puck in the net. So we got some guys that can really fire the puck. We got guys that can really, really score. It's not even just up front. We got guys shoot from the back too. I want shots from the points. We want shots from everywhere, from every angle, from every. We want to pepper the goalies, and we want to. And you know what? You tire them out by the third period, which is a good thing too. And I also want to know how many shots we're giving up. If you're shooting 50 but giving up 60, it's not a good thing. But we've been shooting, And to be fair, we've been up into the high 40s, 50s, for quite some time. I think we only had 40 shots in Widnes. And I was like, really, only? And but I don't know if the shot count was right, because that Darren wasn't there. But that's the thing is, we're trying to hit as many shots as we can, and it seems to help us make us successful. And that's why I'm always coming over and saying, what do you guys got? Because this is what we got. Want to make sure that we're getting a fair amount too as well. So, but yeah, so shots are key for us. We want to get a lot of them. We want to keep the possession of the puck. And it seems to be working at the moment in time.
Now, coming off the back of that cup final, we saw the England Ice Hockey Department of Player Safety hand out a 6-game ban to Davids for an illegal check to the head. Tell us your thoughts on that.
Look, the way that they're calling the game now, like I had a talk with with my sources and things like that through the league, and he explained why it was going to be a ban. And I had him review the call, and I'll say it 100% and say, look, why is this being called one night, but then the night before this isn't? You know what I mean? And that sparked an issue for Billingham, but I'm not afraid to say it. Look, I'm trying to get clarity myself. Okay, so my issue is, do I feel that it was the right call the way they're calling this? Yes. Do I feel that David's a dirty player? No. Do I feel that he works people up? Yes. And he does it certain ways. But the way that the games were going, people were bumping into each other all night. That guy just happened to be falling because he hurt his groin. David's probably shouldn't have went to, make contact with him. He could have went the other way. In the way that they're calling the league and the way that they're calling these penalties, they have to call it. And I respect that because of what they're trying to do. So do I feel in my day that's a penalty? Nowhere near it. But look, you've got to just take it, right? I asked for the call to be reviewed and brought back because I didn't feel that there was a lot more going on there that I thought, wait a second, why are we calling that, but we're not calling these? And there was a few more that I could have shown, on the other side. And I thought, I'm not going to get into that. I just want explanation about why there's a blatant hit to the head, right? With the ref looking right at the play, which I don't like. They might have been looking somewhere else. He might have not seen it. It happens. The refs aren't going to see everything. You know what I mean? But when it was happening a few more times, and you're like, wait a second, now this is being called with 10 minutes left in the final game of the tournament. It's like I just wanted clarification, and it turned into something else. So the way I see it is, look, if that's a call, this has got to be a call, right? But to me, the way that they're calling the games, I appreciate what they're trying to do. I appreciate what they're trying to take. So yes, in regards to the way that they're calling the game, it is a 6-game ban. So you can't argue it, and that's why we didn't appeal it, right? So because you have an opportunity to appeal that ban, right? So when you take a look at it, you look at Dops and the videos and stuff like that. It was an attempt to make a contact with a player where you could have attempted not to make contact with a player. End of. That's it. And I told Davids that. I said, look, the contact is a little kind of weak, but the fact of the matter is that's the way they're calling the game, and you're just going to have to take it, mate. So and so he's going to sit his 6-game ban like anybody else would. So
do you think he's been lucky in the way that they've been calling the check to the head with the 6-game? I mean, obviously, seen Adam Gisecco the other week get a 20-game ban. I know each one's taken in its own merit, but do you think 6 games is quite lucky for us?
Again, no, I don't. I think it's the right call. I think it's the right call because that's the way they're calling the game. That's the way that they're calling the game today. I don't think there was any ill, like, I'm going to try and hurt this guy, or it was literally, I'm going to make contact with the guy. The way the guy was falling, he could have moved because the guy was falling and he went towards his head. That's just the way that they're calling it. I've seen the Jezeko hit. Everybody's seen the Jezeko hit. That's the way they're calling it. If that's, if they feel that's 20 games, that's 20 games. Would I personally give 20 games? No, but that's not me. That's not my decision. And I don't think anybody really frankly cares about my opinion. But that's all right. But that's the way the game's being called, and we have to respect that. I told the guys that too. I said, look, when we're finishing hits, make sure you're finishing them clean. Make sure you're keeping your hands down. But also, if teams are going to come at us, especially if we take the lead, they get frustrated, right? And they start coming. And I tell my guys, look, you gotta stand up to that. And the way you stand up to it is make sure that you go back at them clean. Don't try and hurt anyone. Don't try and overhit anyone. Just make sure it's clean. That's all I got to say. Because I'm never going to tell my team to back down from a physical game, no matter what the score is. So, but look, the games this weekend I thought were called very fairly. I thought it was good. I thought that, especially Orms on Sunday, I thought he kept it under control. The guys were getting aggressive. That's the way it is. It's hockey, but it was all clean. Everything was clean, throughout that game. The hits on us, hits on them. So I can't really say that there was a lot, and then penalties were against us, penalties were for us. So I just, like I said, I can't stress enough that you're going to have to deal with these situations. The game is changing. And to be honest with you, I think they are doing it for the betterment of ice hockey. I think that they're doing it because it's the way to go. I played at a different time. I played at a time where it's like a lot of this stuff wouldn't even been thought about being called, not even 2-minute minors, let alone, 5-6 game bans, 20 game bans. But the fact is we're not there. We're not in the era that I played or in the era that anybody else played for that matter. We're in the era of this is the way the game is going. You either buy in or you're not going to play.
Yeah.
End of. That's it. Like, it is frustrating as we get. It is, as much as we can complain sometimes, and trust me, I do complain about it. I've been to the NHL games now. I went to Sweden to watch the Red Wings play, obviously, because it's only, a couple hour flight, and who wouldn't go see their hometown team play in Europe? So I went over and watched both games in Detroit, but I haven't seen a game in about 1.5 to 2 years. And I watch guys cut across the blue line and think to myself, back when I used to watch the game or play the game and Scott Stevens was standing on blue line, or, a guy like Cronwall was coming down the boards, they're going to get killed. But this is the way the game is now going. It's going more into, and they're coming across fast.
Yeah.
Their heads down, but they're putting the puck through their skates and this, that. But that's the way the game is now. The players have to understand now too, as well, that there's a level of respect on the players, no matter who you are. A guy's going to be able to cut across the blue line, but if he gets smoked and any sort of whatever hits the head, you're going to be suspended. So why do it? You try and play the puck. That's the way the game's going. And it's the way the game's going. And I watch the NHL and I think to myself, man, how skilled and how fast the game is. I never thought I would like it without the hitting, without the fighting, without the, the commotion. Look, you're never going to take fighting out the game. It's got to be a part of the game. It has to be. But it's got to be both combatants wanting to go. You know what I mean? Like, it does have to be that way. But the way that the NHL is now, and the way that a lot of the leagues are, in North America and in Europe and stuff like that, they're cracking down on that stuff because they want a fast-paced, high-skill game. Well, what a lot of fans don't realize is it's exciting. It's actually more exciting than you think it is, because there's some young kids in this country that are around 15, 16 years old, and we've proved that we can bring them up, right? Because the game is safer at the moment. It's safer than it was 2-3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Is it the safest at the moment? No, because there's guys still in this league that, well, they're looking for that hit. They're looking because that's the game that's the only game that they can play. Well, my thing is now is you either need to develop with the times, play hockey, or you're or go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the only way that we're going to progress in the country. So I see what they're trying to do. As far as consistency goes, look, you're not going to make the call all the time the right way. You're not going to make the call the wrong way every time. But there needs to be kind of a fair balance. And like I said, with the Devin scenario, he's not a dirty player. He's a chippy player. He'll hit you. He'll chirp. He'll do what any other player does to try and get under your skin, to try and get you to take a penalty. And to be honest with you, he proved last year that he'd be happy to fight fair and square. I know he would, right? But it's mostly me telling him not to, because I want him on the ice to play hockey.
Yeah.
So that's the great thing about players like him is he plays the complete game too as well. He can play the skill game. He can play the physical game. He's not afraid to mix it up. He's always in the mix if something's going on to defend his teammates. He was always the first one in last year. So he is a lot this year too as well. But look, it is what it is. It's the way the game's going. The important thing is we've got him for playoffs. And in the run in, he can have a little bit of a rest here. But the unfortunate part is we've got a couple guys out too as well. So,
yeah.
So we're missing him at the wrong time. But again, the other guys, the guys on the team have been so good, filling up and gapping up and, filling those holes when some of our top players are missing, because they're all playing together as a team, and that's important. So no, I mean, look, you never want to lose a player to a ban, but hey, it's there, it's done. We move on and we just move forward.
I think in terms of like players stepping up, Captain Clutch, Aaron Davis, seems to jump up from the sort of third line to the first line when he's called upon, and he doesn't seem to miss a step.
I can't say enough about Aaron, the way he's retooled his game. I mean, that kid, I told him from the start, I said, look, you've crushed every record in the world in Blackburn. I said, but the important thing now is it really is. It's about it's team now. It's championships. It's let's win hockey games. And we joke around a lot about it, because I asked him. I said, I want you to retool your game, and he said, well, what do you mean by that? I said, I don't want you to think offense now. I want you to think defense, and I want you to think. I want you to chip in when you can, but I want you to be a depth guy. I want to be able to use you in every single situation. And he's done a great job of being able to say, you know what, actually, no, I'm going to buy into this. I've got him killing penalties now, which I don't think he's ever done. I've got, he's a net front guy in the power play, which is great because he's a tough kid. He's older. He's got the old man strength, and he's respected as well. So he plays it pretty clean, and he's aggressive, and he wants to be there. He's an energy guy, believe it or not. Is he 40? I think he's 40.
Yeah, he's 40.
Is he 40 years old? And he's out there like a 20-year-old. Like just skating as hard as he can, being aggressive, playing hard, and playing both ways. And that's what we needed from Aaron. And believe it or not, he's had more of an impact on our results than anybody would think, right? But having said that, with Aaron, he's not the only one. He's leading the pack. So if everybody sees the 40-year-old playing both ways, they're going to have to hold themselves accountable. If they see your captain, doing what you need to do, and get lower on a breakout and just, chipping the puck off the boards instead of just throwing it up the middle all the time, making those little right plays and buying in and things like that, and allowing me to correct him, at 40 years old. Both of us are practically the same age. And if the guys see that, and then they'll do that because he's doing it. And that's that. He's been a true leader. He's been a true leader. And I told him, I said, look, I grew up in an era of Detroit Red Wings where, Scotty Bowman, when he took over the Detroit Red Wings, they wanted to win a championship. And they looked at Yzerman at one point. They were looking at trading Yzerman, but he was offense. He was all offense. But Scotty Bowman basically did the same thing. He said, "Look, you need to buy into playing defense. If we're gonna win, we need to have the best defense and this and that. Play the game all the way around." And he did, and he became one of the best players all around in the NHL. Well, that's what Aaron's doing now. He's completely retooled his game, right, to the point where he's able to play two ways. He's able to play physical too as well. He's able to play offense. He's able to play defense. Like I said, on the penalty kill, on the power play, he's versatile now, and that's what you need. And that's what we want all of our guys to be. Eventually, we want all of our guys to be able to mix in and just play every position in every situation. And the more you can teach your guys to do that, to teach them to play the right way, it doesn't matter who comes in and out of the lineup. Everybody's playing the same way anyway, which is the right way. And that's what's going to help you succeed. So yeah, credit where credit's due. I give Aaron a heck of a lot of credit. So,
I mean, he is still showing the way forward. I think he scored a hat trick on Saturday as well.
Yep. Yeah.
So you even though he's saying about defense, he's still putting them in up. So
he's chipping in. He's still chipping in. He's still protecting that record, which is a good thing, and that's pretty cool. So, but he's not doing it selfishly. He's buying within the system. He's playing within the game. And the game is rewarding him. Him playing the way he is, he's being rewarded for it. But so are a lot of the other guys. But he's the one leading the charge. Yeah, he is. So, and he plays physical. I mean, look, the game got physical on Sunday, and he came out with a beautiful hit.
So on Mr. Harper, that wasn't it? Was
yeah,
on Mr. Harper?
Yeah.
Memory serves me right.
It was getting chippy. It was getting nasty. And Harper plays hard. The guy plays hard.
Yeah.
And he, he's not the first one that would back away from a challenge at all. And as a matter of fact, the more you get on Harper, I think the more he feeds off it. He's kind of a guy that you want to go. You just say, look, just leave him alone, let him sleep. I say that a lot.
Ignore him.
In the locker room, I'll say that. I say, look, just don't even talk to these guys. Just let them sleep. Just go out there, play the game, let them sleep. Because when you wake them up, they tend to grit their teeth a little more and play a little harder. Leave them alone. You know what I mean? So
Ollie wasn't listening then.
We won't get into that. No, we won't. We'll leave that one for him.
We'll let that one sleep as well.
You can talk to him. You can talk to him about any situation. He'll tell you the truth. He's not a guy that's going to hold back anyway.
No.
So, yeah. Oh.
So you touched on it a little bit earlier. This year, as part of the pathway, we've seen players like Josh Crawley come up. He's made an impact as well, playing first-line minutes, PP minutes. What's it been like working with Josh?
It's been great. I mean, the kid is just every time he goes on the ice, he's growing with confidence, and that's all we've been trying to do with him. Especially myself. I always said that I wanted to work with players that were younger too as well. And look, with Blackburn, we are there to win. We're there to win hockey games. We're the senior team in the city, and we need to do that for the organization. But I want to mix in these younger kids, and I want to play the younger guys. And when we first signed Crawley, we thought, we might be spending time up and down with the Aces first senior year. It became real apparent that he wasn't going to be going back down anywhere. I mean, the speed, the tenacity, the intensity that he plays with is something that I think is also good for the team. And because when they see a guy like him going out, such a young player going out and just literally busting his ass every single shift, not taking a shift off, it makes every other player want to do the same. And that's with where we are with Josh is, you kind of want to let him play the game to kind of figure things out on his own, but he's being guided by the guys that we have next to him too as well. He's been with pretty much next to Letwich all year long. Letwich has had experience and things like that. And Jake was a guy that we counted on to carry the puck and skate the puck all last year and counted on for a lot of offense. But what Jake's quickly realizing now is he's able to utilize his wingers, his speed with Josh and stuff like that. we've had him on a line with Devins in the beginning, but then we've been able to bring in a natural centerman, Pullett too as well, who's been helping and working with Josh. But I think Josh is one of those kids who just wants to play hockey. He's just having a lot of fun with it. And he's tough. He's strong. I mean, again, he runs guys over that are 2 or 3 feet bigger than him. And I think everybody thought all the size. I'm not a huge believer in that whatsoever. He's got a great strong core. He's a true athlete, that kid. And I'll tell you now, he has a very, very bright future. And I think he's going to play at a very high level in this country if he keeps doing what he's doing now.
It doesn't put him off either, with, like you said, about the power and the strength that he's got, especially when he takes it. He doesn't shy off. I mean, what was he? Was only 16? Is he 17? He's riding them big hits. You see the big defenders going after him, and he gets back up and he hits them back. It's unbelievable.
They get frustrated with him because he is so young, and they think, oh, well, he shouldn't be able to do that to me. Well, he takes it, to be honest. Like, guys, we don't want that. That's the thing, is you don't really want players to take it easy on those guys, because they have to learn to play like that. They have to learn to play aggressive. And now look, when we feel that, like the other night, Pullett stepped up for him because we don't feel that there was a very clean play on him. If there's not a clean play on him, you're absolutely right. You step up and you stand up and you do that. You know what I mean? But look, Josh isn't afraid to give it. He's going to play aggressive. That's the way he plays, and he plays strong, which I feel would be a disadvantage if he played at the lower levels in this country, because the way they're calling the game, because he's so much stronger than everyone else. If he runs through players at that level, or at the level everybody thinks that they want him to be at, he's going to get penalty after penalty. Probably not even play. They'll probably suspend him, right? Like, because he will be running through players like that, right? But look, it's with Josh. He's a very, very young talent, but the best thing about him is he listens and he's coachable, and he takes everything in. But it isn't just Josh. We got a couple other younger guys that are doing the same thing too as well. But when you're talking about Josh specifically, again, I think that his energy level it sparks the team. It really does, and to be able to do that from such a young age is special. It is special.
Yeah, when we say younger ones, we've seen Matty Cross, I think, is another one that's sort of bloomed over the last 12 months. I remember watching him in his first game for us, and since then he's sort of like built up. I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, with Matty Cross, it's a great story. I mean, the year that I took over last year, he had only played 1 or 2 games, and he didn't get a lot of shifts for some reason. And I thought to myself, I'm like, there's no way that he was at a level where he couldn't play last year. Like that was my opinion. And I just said, you know what? We're going to stick with him. We're going to put him in the lineup, and we're just going to let him flourish. We're just going to let him see where he goes. And last year, I found it hard to believe that he didn't play the year before. That's my honest opinion. Like over a few guys. And I don't mean any disrespect to those guys, but the fact of the matter is he should have been. And that's where I told him, I said, look, we're going to play it. We're going to play in all situations, see where you're at. Do I feel that he's an offensive defenseman as far as playing power play and stuff like that? I think that he's got the potential to be. Do I think that he is more of a stay-at-home, shut it down, carry the puck kind of defenseman? That's his game, right?
Yeah.
Like, he is so good defensively. He's so good with his stick. He reminds me of like the way that he plays is like a Lindstrom, like a Nick Lindstrom.
Yes.
He takes the body when he needs to, but he doesn't often have to, because his positioning and his skating is so good. His transition from skating backwards to forwards, back to backwards, and where his stick positioning is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. And I think with him, it's confidence. I mean, he went through a little bit of a rough patch for a couple games, but it was just like, well, just relax and play the game that like you feel you should. I'd like him to take the puck more, but he's playing on a line now where the players are good enough to get open, and he's good enough to find them. You know what I mean? Like he's playing on a line now where he's playing on a team. Sorry, not a line. He's playing on a team where guys positionally can get open quickly. So if he does take the puck, he's got great speed. He can get that thing and turn up. And if they're not there, he's a threat now, right? And then he can pull players to him, and then he can get the puck to his teammates. So yeah, with Matty Cross as a younger guy too as well. Look, the kid's improving every day. He's improving every day, and you can't take that away from him.
Now, if you're talking about players like this, how do you see the pathway at the Hawks progressing?
And we've had quite a few younger players contact us through the last couple months and things like that. Now, we need to, we work pretty closely with the Aces down in LT, and I got a really good relationship with Elliot. We're constantly talking. McClellan was one of those players who was supposed to be up and down, but again, he's completely a different player. He's completely took on the fact that he needed to be in better shape. He needed to be, taking hockey more seriously. Again, one of the guys that kind of struggled, and we just said, look, like this is your opportunity now, because it's not going to be here next year with other players coming up and things like that. So you need to really take a look and say, am I going to do this or am I not? That's all there is to it. And we put out a plan for him, and he's followed the plan. I wouldn't say to a T. He's gone above and beyond it. So he's taken things on. And the good thing is he's tough, and he'll stand up for his teammates. That's very important too as well. I say we're team tough. We got guys that will stand up to other teams if they're getting down to that grittiness and that little dirtiness and stuff like that. So. But the pathway is very much there and alive. We've got Grimes, who's been up and down, Malachi Budd, who's been up and down. So we're working with them, but at the moment in time, Grimes is earned a spot up here. We're running 10 forwards at the moment, and it's working. Malachi's going to play. He's still going to play down with the Aces. Even when we do play, but when we don't play, he's going to be up with us because he's doing pretty well too as well. But yeah, all the guys through the pathway, stuff like that, the extra ice has helped them massively. And that's what we want to do. And with Elliot, what we want to try and do, we spoke about it, is we want to try and find a group of younger players as well for next year for the NHL too. Because I think, unfortunately, it's been a bit tough on him down there too as well, because with the progression that these guys have had, they are able to take shifts and things like that. And with the injuries too as well, they've been stepping up at our level. So they've been really, really good with it. And I feel like the progression is really, really starting to show in these younger guys. I mean, too, as well as we took Philly late last year. He's been unfortunate. He's had some injuries and stuff like that. But again, we had him, I didn't even see him until late last year. We just got him in time for playoffs. And he came out the gate like you wouldn't even believe. I mean, the work that he put in the summer, but unfortunately he's battling an injury right now that's been ongoing for quite some time. He was able to get back for a couple of weeks before the cup finals. And it's been great to be able to run the 7D, but again, he's in a position now where he's got to make a decision about his I would say it's no secret, but his injury. So he's got to decide, okay, what do we do now? So we're going to have to manage that from now until playoffs too, because there's no sense of him just jumping back in full time again right now if he's just going to hurt himself for the rest of the season. Yeah. Right. So when is he going to be the most valuable to us? But also, he needs to make sure he takes care of himself. He's 17 years old. these injuries you don't want them lingering. You need to take care of yourself because you've got your whole career ahead of you. The last thing you want to do is, no offense to us and no offense to where we're at, the last thing you want to do is hurt yourself career-wise for NAHL 1, Morley Cup.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
But it's just because, again, he's a player I feel, who's got a really bright future and can play at a really high level, just like our other young guys. So we're the pathway is very much there and alive still. And we've got a couple players that we're looking into for next year and things like that. We're keeping a close eye on, and I think it's only gonna get better for us throughout these next couple years. It's only gonna get better.
Looking like for young ones coming in, not so much players, but what about coaching side as well? What would you say, or give any tips or hints on that? So, I mean, it looks like the IHA have just released, and they're releasing details about another course this week. Is it easy to build yourself up? Is it, I've heard there's problems at the minute, or should I say struggles to get to the level 2 at the second as well. So what's you thinking about that?
I think what they've done, I think they've come up with like a fast track almost at the level 2. I found it a bit annoying, to be honest, and I'm sure every ex-player like myself would be a little bit annoyed at the fact that just because I'm sitting in the same class as Johnny's mom, little Johnny's mom, they're pretty much putting her at the same level as I have. Well, look, I appreciate that. I appreciate 100%. I appreciate that Johnny's mom wants to take the position and take up coaching and wants to learn. But also, how many years has she played the game? How many years she's been around the game? How many years has she sacrificed, or he's sacrificed, or whatever. I feel like, look, as an ex-player, and your resume should speak for itself. I'm sorry to say it, but that's my again, it's my opinion. Whether and you're asking me my opinion, I don't think anybody really cares about my opinion. But if you're asking me my opinion, I feel like that if there wasn't so many hoops to jump through as an ex-player, if you played at a certain level, or you have a hockey resume, like a lot of us do, and I'm not saying just me, I'm saying a lot of us, then you should probably not have to go through the same things that the people who haven't had a professional career in hockey have to go through. And I wouldn't expect that in any other profession, right? I wouldn't expect to have the same treatment and opportunity in being a lawyer. Well, just because I passed the same course as you, I'm on the same level. Well, if that guy's been a lawyer for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's one of those things where I just feel that there should be a little bit more of a fast track for ex-players and coaches that coach at a higher level and things like that. But I understand that it's not just about the coaching, right? It's about child safety. It's about safeguarding. It's about, you're dealing with kids. We're coaching kids. So I get that completely and understand that completely. So I don't think it's necessarily they're putting us in the same category as people who haven't had that type of career and stuff like that. And you don't want to put people off of that either, right? You don't want to say, just because I have an 11-year career doesn't mean that you can't build yourself up. Look at John Cooper from Tampa Bay Lightning. I played for him. He was my junior B coach. I played for a team that he coached junior B, but he was an assistant coach at the time. I don't think he has a playing career whatsoever, but look where he is. He's one of the most prolific coaches of all time. And it could be more about man management. I mean, the guy is unreal, but just because he hasn't had a long playing career or anything like that, again, it's vice versa. So when you're looking at the situation right now, I find it frustrating that I need to go and spend days away at courses to do something that I was physically a professional at, right? So But that's the rules. That's what you've got to do. You've got to go through the process. I've gone through the process of being a level 1, and I will get my level 2. It's just a matter of if it's going to fit within my time frame from work, right? Is it going to fit within my time frame from home, for my family life? Because we're putting in a lot of time through elsewhere in the time that I might not be able to take off work to go do level 2, because I've already taken enough time off to be with the Hawks, or things like that, or be with my family and stuff. So look, I think it's a great thing what they've done. They've pulled something on now that they can kind of it's like a temporary fast track type of thing, isn't it? Up until you can get your level 2, and I think it's a good thing. And I'm going to explore that option. I'm going to do that because I want to. Again, I want to try and evolve with English ice hockey, because if you don't, then what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Because it's evolving. Get with the program, okay, and complain along the way. Give the program, but eventually you're going to have to do it anyway. So if you want to complain, but you're going to have to do it anyway. So there's a lot of things I think they're trying to do, and they're trying to change, and I think they're all done for good reasons. But there are some things that I'm going to disagree on, but that's not my choice. I'm just going to have to go with the flow, and I'll complain along it with everybody else at the same time as we go through. So,
and when you're coaching as well, do you think, like, have you started learning different things that you've obviously had a lot of years as a player, but then when you go back, when you start coaching, do you start learning again? Have you found that you're learning different ways and means, and
constantly learning? The game has changed so much too as well since I played. You got to think about that. The physical aspect of it, it's not so much their players. They're different. We're all different. The generations of players today compared to the generations of players back then, the way they treat everything, from injuries to winning to losing, to the way you coach, what guys respond to what, everything has changed from when I've played. So I'm constantly trying things, whether that be things on the ice or talking to players, and what works and what doesn't. So I'm building a bit of a book myself, to say, oh, okay, well, that didn't work, right? Not going to do that again. But actually, that worked for a player like that type of player, that he thinks differently. So I can coach that way with him, but I have to coach this way with this guy, right? So it's not as straightforward as you think it is. Every player responds differently to comments, tones, and anything for that matter, anything. So yeah, I love it. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly trying to improve myself, because ultimately, you don't really want to just hit a peak and stop. You want to keep improving on yourself, and growing as a coach and as a person too as well. And I think, I enjoy being around these guys. I really do enjoy it. And I enjoy, even if we weren't winning as much as we were, it's still a game. It's still a release to have fun, right? You got to think, remember, these guys have jobs. They go to school. I have a job. You know what I mean? We don't do this because we're getting paid loads, because we're not, right? Yeah. We do it because we absolutely love the game. We love the game, and we love the being around the team. And for me, it's a little different. I'm not their teammate. I am their coach. There is a level of respect there, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm the coach, you got to listen to me, this and that. Well, like, this is the way that we're doing it, tough. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a different type of coach. I want to be more of a leader, right? More of a leader than anything. And I think, talking with the players, communicate with players, what's working, what's not. You guys are out there. I see something, and I say, I'd rather it be done like this. But if they see something on the ice saying, well, it's a little easier to do it this way, then I'm going to let them go do it. And then if it doesn't work, I can say, well, try it your way, try it my way, and we'll see which one works. And there's times that it works for them, and there's times that it doesn't. And there's times that things work for me or for the way that I wanted them to do it, you know? So, so really, honestly, it's all about a learning experience, the coaching, everything like that. And I just want to keep making sure that I'm evolving with them, right? And not trying to stand still, because the minute you stop trying, or the minute you stop evolving with it, you're going to die. And you're going to fall away from it. And right now I'm having too much fun to want to fall away from it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's the same case with the guys, but they might not think as deep as I do into things. Obviously, when you're 42 years old, you're a lot older than them. You think a lot deeper. Then they might just think, oh, he's actually a pretty cool guy, or actually he's kind of an idiot, but I'll listen to him. He knows half of what he's talking about. Like, so, but hey, any way that we can help, any way I can help a player, any way I can help them as a player and as a person off the ice, I'm there 100%. And I'm there. And it's not just about coaching on the ice. It's about being a mentor and being someone that they can relate to off the ice as well.
So up next, we're going to open the floor up to questions that have been submitted by Hawks fans and hockey fans alike. This one is from Jamie Matthews. He asks, what was the pre-game meals over the cup weekend for the lads? Because whatever it was, they need to keep having it.
You're going to have to ask the lads that question, pal. I stuck to my traveling food, my M&S on the motorway.
It's whatever they were serving at Weatherby, weren't it?
Yeah, that Weatherby, right? Yeah, I think I did have M&S there too as well.
Next up, this is a question from Paulie. You might recognise him. He does have a son that plays for you. It's a multi-part question. In terms of the competitions we have played in this season, would you prefer to keep the same format and approach with the M56 Cup and the Northern League, or would you rather extend and rename the M56 Cup to include other teams from the Northwest, for example, the Aces? Or would you prefer to extend the Northern Cup and include the likes of Whitley, the Stars, and some other Scottish teams? Or is there a point in the calendar where you feel like there's too many games? What's the right balance?
To be honest, at our level, it's worked out this year. I originally thought there'd be too many games at our level, but it seems the guys, especially the guys that we have, they just want to play hockey, and I think that they're enjoying the competition. But you also have to think it's a long season. At the NHL 1 level, my first season, we had a couple weekends off. You had a couple weekends where there was one game. The Northern League was put together, to see if it could be sustained. 1, 2, to offer more games for the guys, competition, younger guys. And the Northern League was mainly for me, in the M56 Cup, was to say, okay, let's get these younger guys some more ice time too as well. We still ran power play units and things like that, but we rolled 4 lines throughout the whole Northern League. The whole Northern League. I don't think we went down to 2, but also we went through an injury spell too.
Yeah.
Where you go and you're like, oh yeah, we'll run 4 lines. It's going to be great and this and that, but then you only go with 3 because you don't have 4. And it really was originally to say, you know what, actually, it'll be good for a lot of players because it's going to be more hockey. We're going to be able to, help the clubs by having extra gates and things like that. We all know how expensive it is to play hockey and to even have teams in this league. Ice time wise and things like that. Ice costs aren't cheap and facilities aren't cheap anymore. Well, I don't think they ever were, but they're more expensive than ever. So these games are necessary to be able to, us as a club, be able to do the things and treat the players the way that we're allowed to, or that the way that we do. And you can really see it that a lot goes into taking care of the boys and offering the facilities that they have and help and support them the way that we do. So I think that they're definitely necessary. I don't necessarily feel it was overload. Anything else more than what we're doing now would be, because we don't. Look, from Christmas till until April, to the end of the season before playoffs, it's doubleheader every weekend, except for one. Right, that's a lot of hockey. Last year, we only had 3 or 4 weekends that were 1-game weekends, as opposed to everybody else are having weekends off. And I think maybe that's what's kind of helped our success. We're playing. We're prepared. We know what we're doing here. We're going in and playing 2 games every weekend. We're playing a lot of hockey, so we're getting better faster. And I think as far as the M56 Cup, look, it's always good for local rivals to get together because they bring their fans. So again, that's good for the organization. So I don't know. It's all going to be up to every team and individually what they feel that they can do. Some teams may not want to play that many games because they know their players won't play them, right? But it's up to them to find players that want to play. That's all there is to it. So before they have to check, do the players want to play? And we decided, well, we're going to do it. And if you want to play for Blackburn, these are the games that we're playing. So I think we definitely caught one guy by surprise. And it was a bit too much, but we said, no, you know what? No, we committed. He had already committed this many games. We didn't know he was going to play this many, but that's it. That's fine. You play this many games, and we'll get some younger guys in and rotate the younger guys in to play more in the other games and things. So like I said, I don't know. I don't know the format. I don't know the way to go. I don't have all the answers to that. Do I feel that the amount of games that we've played is pretty much perfect? Yes. Could do with a couple less for the players, maybe with injuries. But definitely, I don't think that at our level you could play much more. It's harder at our level. National League is a little bit different. I think players actually get more expenses and they get paid and things like that. So at the national level, it's almost like a second income for a lot of guys. And they're doing something they love to do it. So for us, unfortunately, without being able to pay players and things like that, it may not be as attractive to players, around our league. So I have no idea. I don't have the answer to that.
This next one is from Lee Stout. He asks, when will we hear about any signings for next season?
We're focused right now on what we're doing. Don't worry about that. I'm sure some things will come out. The good thing is we've built an organization where players want to be. And we're getting interest from everywhere at the moment in time, but that's not what I'm focused about. We're focusing on finishing out the season. If we can get a couple players locked up for next year, that'll be great. But as of right now, we're in the midst of a 12-game winning streak. And we've got 2 games this weekend, 2 games the following weekend, 1 game the following weekend. We're in playoffs. So right now, at the moment, we're focused on getting to the playoffs and taking care of business so we can get to the Final Four.
And the final one, this one's from Tom McDonnell. I think I might know the answer to this one. He says, if you could sign any NHL player, past or present, to play for the Hawks, who would it be and why?
Come on. Who would you say I would choose on this one?
There's a couple. Lindstrom, Datsuk. There's a couple.
Yzerman, by far. Yeah, Yzerman by far. He was my ultimate favorite player. He was the ultimate leader. He's just one of the best players ever to play in the NHL. But by far it would be Steve Yzerman. Just the way he played, the way he was able to carry, the way he carries himself. I mean, the way he carried and carries himself. Look what he's doing now. He's a special character. He's he's a guy that I would look up to for the rest of my life, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, it would definitely be Steve Yzerman.
We'll have to see if Carl and Graham have got the budget to get him in.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I don't know.
So to round things up then, coming up this weekend, we've got the trip over to face the Dragons in our final game of the M56 Cup. What are you expecting from that game?
Just a regular game of hockey. Look, we're going to be going in pretty short, to be honest. We've got a couple guys out again. But again, it doesn't worry me. It doesn't bother me. I think the guys they'll rise to the challenge again. They're gonna go there and they're gonna play. I think it's a little different. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see what the emotions are like with the situation that happened in D-side the last time we were there. So I feel like we're just gonna go. We want to play hockey. That's all there is to it. We're gonna play hockey, and we're gonna go to win a hockey game, and we're gonna come home and we're gonna deal with the field on Sunday.
I'm going to say after that, we've got the Sheffield Scimitars at home. No easy games in this league, but that's certainly one that we should be winning.
Yeah, well, the fact is, Sheffield's turned a couple teams here in the last few weeks. They've got some good young players, and they work hard. They're not going to roll over. None of the teams do. Even the teams in that part of the standings, they still work hard. You have to respect them coming in, because if you don't and you take your foot off the gas, you're going to get stung. And the guys know this and they understand it, because we just don't want to drop points right now. We have a chance to chase down second place, and you cannot take your foot off the gas or take any team lightly, because we need to win out if we want second place. Have to. We don't want to rely on Solihull to lose games.
I'll just stop complacency setting in, because obviously, like you say, we've got Sheffield twice in the next 2 weeks. We've also got Nottingham next Sunday as well. So how would you basically instill in the boys and stop the complacency getting in there?
You know what? That was a big part of my speech this last weekend about complacency, and I just don't see it. I don't see it in their eyes. I don't see it in their play. I don't see it at training. They have completely taken this as professional as possible. You go into Billingham and you do what you do in Billingham or Solihull, then Billingham. The way that we've been scoring goals, turning teams. Yet there's a quiet hunger, almost like it's almost the opposite of complacency. But I will be constantly stressed it this weekend. You just break it down to a shift, break it down to a game, and you play intense. I don't see our guys doing that. I don't believe it. They have it in them to sit back. I don't. They just want to be the best, and that's what they want to do, and that's what they're doing.
Brilliant. Thanks again, Dom, for coming on the podcast. I think it's your third time on here now.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me.
Brilliant. Best of luck this weekend and for the remainder of the season.
Thank you very much.
Hawks Talk.
I really enjoyed that one. It's always good to chat to Dom and Aiden. Thank you guys again for coming on the podcast. You may have seen it on our social media channels. We have some player jerseys still available for sponsorship. Check out the Hawks website for more information, and to get yourself one, it's the perfect way to support your favourite player. Well, that's all we have time for. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Hawks Talk podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on whichever platform you're listening to us on. And if you want to get involved in the show, just send me an email, hawkstalk@blackburnhawks.com. Until next time, see you later.
Hawks Talk.